Hi guys, it's Yaya Han, and I'm coming to you from, I guess, my home recording space. So yeah, like everybody else, I'm practicing social distancing. I've been home just about the entire month of March, and I plan on staying here for the next month for sure, for all of April. And I hope you are too. Stay at home as much as you can, please. 2020 is turning out to be a very interesting year because of the coronavirus situation, which is very serious, especially here in the United States. Several conventions that I was scheduled to appear at this year have been either postponed to a later date or have been canceled. So that puts me in a little bit of a bind because I am coming out with a book this year. It is the biggest project that I've ever worked on, and it's something I was really looking forward to going on the road and telling you guys, showing you in person. So I have to find a different way to tell you all about this book, and I decided to make this video. Here you go. This is my new book coming out. It is called Yaya Han's World of Cosplay. So I love the cover that it has like this 3D quality to it. And the whole book is full color. It's 256 pages, paperback. Originally, my book was slated to come out on May 5th, but because of the very serious coronavirus situation, we have pushed the release date back to August 4th. Hopefully by then we will be able to have bookstores open again and you'll be able to go buy this in person, and hopefully I'll be able to do some signings as well, although that really depends on how much we can flatten the curve, which once again, stay at home, help flatten the curve so we can go back out sooner. But I wanted to tell you all about it because this book is available for pre-order right now. So Sterling is Barnes & Noble's own publishing company, so this book is already available for pre-order on barnesandnoble.com. You can also pre-order it right now on Amazon as well as IndieBound. And for those of you who don't want to wait for the physical copy of the book, you can order the Kindle edition and directly download it immediately on August 4th and read it. So why should you buy this book? A lot of people have asked if this is a tutorial book or how to make costumes book, and it is not. I purposefully wanted to write a book about the culture of cosplay as opposed to a tutorial book because there is a lot of information about how to make costumes. A lot of people are doing tutorials, and I thought there really hasn't been a book about the way that the modern world of cosplay has developed. There have been books about fandoms or steampunk and other subcultures, as well as historical costuming like reenactments, but nothing about cosplay that we know it. I decided to not self-publish and go with a publisher because I wanted the book to reach as many people as possible. With Sterling's global distribution network, this book has the chance to be translated into other languages, I hope, and be able to be sold in stores in many more countries than what I could ship from my warehouse. I am a little bummed about the delay. I wish that I could put this in all your hands right now, but this is for the best. This book will come out, and when it comes out, I hope that you will enjoy it immensely. So let's talk a little more about what's inside this book. So it is about the culture of cosplay, but told from my personal standpoint. I know that cosplay is a different experience for each person depending on when they discovered it and through which fandom, but I think that me having been cosplaying for 20 years, I have a very good grasp of how this community was formed and what its strengths and weaknesses are. So I wanted to tell the definitive history and evolution and also the current standing of cosplay, but really through my eyes. So in this book, you will learn more about me. You'll learn where I came from and what caused me to become who I am. And by following my journey, you'll learn about the different aspects of cosplay. So for example, I divided up the book into 5 parts, and there's 16 chapters total. So the first part is Welcome to the World of Cosplay. It explores what cosplay is and who I am, as well as, my own personal history. The fact that I grew up in multiple countries and, what caused me to become a creative. Then in part 2, the history of cosplay, I delve a little bit into historical fandom costuming and where it came from, but truly this book is focused on the last 20 years, which is where I believe the modern version of cosplay really began to evolve. So you get to learn about the boomerang effect, which is how fandom costuming developed in the West, went to Japan, and then developed there, and then came back to the West in a new form that is cosplay as we know it now. You'll also get to read about the first time I cosplayed, like at Anime Expo 99, and also what it was like in those early days of cosplay when we were truly a fringe culture. And there's one chapter called The Growing Pains of a Fringe Culture. That was really hard to write, but I wanted to show the difficulties of being such a tiny subculture that was considered like super freaky, even by anime fans. So that's really fun. Then we have part 3, which is the creative expression of cosplay. That is sort of looking at the different facets of cosplay currently. So how cosplay became more and more prevalent at conventions, and how the first cosplayers were invited as guests to events, to go from a fan to them being a part of the programming. And there's a chapter called Cosplay in Focus, which is all about how cosplay photography evolved from dimly lit hallway pictures on disposable cameras to now you have professional magazine quality photo spreads with, state-of-the-art post-processing digital effects. And we have a chapter on going beyond recreations, which is all about how people started being creative with their own versions of costumes, thinking up alternate universes or doing humanoid designs of Pokemon and My Little Pony, and just how far you can take the creative aspect of cosplay. Part 4 was definitely the hardest to write. It is called The Duality of Cosplay, and it really explores all of the not so shiny aspects. When I decided to write this book, I thought there's no way that I can write a book about cosplay and not talk about the problems in it that I felt would be irresponsible. It's a part of cosplay. You can't just have everything be sunshine and rainbows. This is a complicated community, and it has issues that are sometimes very unique and in other times are very universal. So I really wanted to touch upon and go in depth in some cases on some of the issues in cosplay. So we have a general chapter on negativity in cosplay. Why is there so much judgment? Why do people troll each other? Why do they say horrible things about each other? Then there's a chapter called The Cosplay Body Issue, which definitely explores the fetishization and sexualization of cosplayers. How, especially for females, depending on your body type, you're either sexualized or you are derided. And I wrote a chapter called Racism and Blackface in Cosplay because I think it is truly the worst problem that we have in the community. And it's one that is so complicated and volatile that we can't even talk about it without it ending up in a flame war. Like, I probably get some comments about that on this video, but I wanted to not omit this issue. I thought it was very important to include it. It was very difficult to write because I really wanted to explain where this notion came from, why people think this might be okay to do, but also explain the plight of Black cosplayers and what they have to go through every day. So aside from having witnessed incidents of blackface for years in this community and really seeing how this issue evolved and what the arguments are on both sides, I also did a lot of additional research. I spoke to Black cosplayers, especially Breed Chibi Cosplay. Thank you so much. She was my sensitivity reader for this issue particularly. I don't want to say too much more because I really want you to read this chapter in full. Yeah, aside from that, I just hope that we can build a community that can be more welcoming and just more understanding. Then in part 5, I wanted to look at where cosplay might be going in the future. This part is called The Industry of Cosplay. And first you have 2 chapters that detail how I went from an amateur cosplay fan to becoming a professional and, creating a business. Some might say a entrepreneurship in cosplay. If you ever wanted to know how I made it and became Yaya Han, read these chapters. You will get to know the cringe days. You'll get to know why I decided to quit my job all the way back in 2005, my first job. And you'll also read about my experience being on Heroes of Cosplay, as well as subsequently breaking into the sewing and crafting industry by working with companies such as McCall's, Cosplay Fabrics, Joanne, Bernina, Dremel, you name it. After that, I have a chapter called Cosplay as a Career, where I outline all the different ways that cosplayers have been able to turn cosplay into a career. Now, each of these 5 parts, aside from the chapters that I mentioned, I have at the end of each part a Yaya's advice chapter outlined in pink, and that is where I give general overall advice on how you can become a cosplayer. I give you tips for how to plan a costume, finding a character that you connect with. I tell you how to gather reference, how to research materials and techniques, how to time manage. These are tips that will help you focus and get started on whatever costume of your choice. So for each part, the Yaya's advice chapter is as follows. For part 1, it's starting a costume, all the things that I just mentioned. For part 2, it's Yaya's advice, sewing and armor, aka the pillars of cosplay. So I give you the basic rundown about sewing, armor, what tools you need, how you need to think when you get into a sewing project versus an armor project. So for part 3, Yaya's advice is how to navigate conventions and photo shoots. So it's tips and tricks for how to make the best of your convention experience, how you can find a photographer, plan photo shoots, what it's like to do self shoots and such. For part 4, the Yaya advice chapter is called Transforming Negativity into Positivity. It discusses things such as personal self-care and how to combat negativity. I also talk about how to build a community and what you can do actively to support your fellow creators and to inject positivity into a space. Here we have the cover for part 5, The Industry of Cosplay. For that, my advice chapter is what you need to know if you want to go pro. So these are hands-on guidelines for what mindset you need to be in if you want to take cosplay to more than just a hobby level. So I talk about things as weighing goals versus benefits, understanding the difference between a goal and a benefit, honing your craft. Even when you're good at something already, always hone your craft. Things that you need to consider if you want to start your own business. Basically, this is the business advice chapter, and I'm very interested in hearing what you guys think, and if you want to know more, these are things that I can definitely build upon. Then the book ends with a chapter called The Dream of Cosplay. It was certainly beyond my dreams to be able to do this for a living, and also coming to America as a first-generation immigrant. I kind of came here and chased the American dream. So it certainly is a conclusion. Then you have acknowledgements, resources, just some really great websites to get you started. Then you have photography credits. Thank you so much to everyone who let me use their photos for this book. I mean, this book is full of such great pictures, especially from early years, and I just truly could not have told the story without the photographers and archivers who were so kind and let me use their photos. So thank you all so very much. I also appreciate all my fellow cosplayers that donated photos. I mean, thank you, Judy, for letting me use this amazing photo. I just love being able to illustrate our beautiful culture with photos from conventions and just show everybody just how awesome we are. So there you have it. This is an introduction to Yaya Han's World of Cosplay, which will be released on August 4th, 2020. Please consider pre-ordering it. It would truly help me so much if you pre-ordered a copy of this book. It could be for yourself, it could be for a family member or a friend as a gift. These make great gifts. But the more pre-orders that we get, the more successful the launch is. It will affect everything. The bigger a launch is, the better chances we have of getting it distributed in more countries. So especially for cosplayers and people interested in cosplay in other countries, we have to make this launch big enough so that they will consider translating this book into other languages and carrying it in bookstores. The best way you can help with that is by pre-ordering it, truly. It is only $24.99, and I know that Barnes & Noble and Amazon, they do shipping discounts. I really have been refraining from posting too many promotions in these tough times, but the one thing that I will ask you this year is please support my book. This is the most precious project to me that I have worked on. I was actually really afraid to write this book for several years, and now that it's finally done, I'm very proud of it. I'm very eager for people to read it, and so please pre-order it. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and IndieBound, and there is a Kindle version. Oh, and by the way, the mannequin behind me is displaying my current costume in progress. It is Spring Festival bunny suit Camilla from Fire Emblem Heroes. It is the beginning of April. I will have this done before Easter, and I plan on doing a photo shoot and releasing it on Easter, so please look forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to get notified, because I am not traveling and I will have a lot more time to make videos. So this YouTube channel will get more action. So if you don't want to miss out, subscribe. And please also leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of Yaya Han's World of Cosplay coming out. If you have any questions about the book, I can try to answer it in a follow-up video maybe. And just in general, I would love to hear from you. I need as much connection as you do, so let's chat, and I will see you around very soon. Thank you, bye!